The Vector submachine gun was recommended by one of my viewers, Proximity Range. And of course, I got intrigued and made my very own build. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, the Vector submachine gun. This is actually Proximity Range's build. I tried this one out on the field and quickly realized that I had not enough bullets. This one has a shitload of accuracy, aka hipfire, but as stated before, the bullet capacity in this build is lackluster and therefore the Vector does not reach its full potential. Also in the calibrations, I noticed you left some out. Not sure if this is intentional. Feel free to let me know in the comment section down below, Proximity Range. So thank you for your comment and the build code of your Vector, of course. But let me show you guys in the gunsmith my version of the Vector submachine gun. Just like in my last video, I'm not going to waste any more of your time. I'll leave the code of my build and Proximity Range's build in the description down below. So if you want to go straight into testing it out, you can find it down below. So for those that want to stay for the nitty-gritty of this build, I'm going to explain everything right here. So let's get straight into it. So starting off, we're going to start with the big one, the magazine. We need a big magazine because you're going to mow through bullets like there's no tomorrow. If you have tokens, put tokens in this weapon until you unlock the 70 round extended C mag. This will really help you. This will be very nice to have. You can pre-fire, you can have a little misses here and there. This will really help you out. This will win you a lot of fights. Maybe even get you some triple kills like you saw in the montage of the beginning of this video. Now, you lose a lot of handling, reload time, stability, accuracy, and weapon stability when firing. This is a lot of negatives, but we will make this up with other attachments. The big one, of course, is handling. You need a lot of handling with this weapon because this is a very aggressive weapon. But Band3r, why would we need more handling on the Vector? Well, for one, a big one, reload time will be a lot faster. ADS speed will be a lot faster. Your sprint to fire delay will be a lot shorter. Your ADS movement speed will be a lot faster. So, but the big one is sprint to fire delay. So when you're running and gunning with the Vector, you will have a lot less downtime on your sprint to fire delay. So that's why we need at least a bit of handling on this weapon. So talking about handling, the foregrip, we are taking the tactical vertical foregrip. Why? Because it has a lot of handling. Now for the muzzle, I went with the spiral firing flash header. This one has the best positives in my opinion without getting negatives. Because if you take, for example, this one, you lose handling. We don't want to lose handling. If you take this one, you get a whole bunch of control, but again, you lose a lot of handling. The SMG suppressor, range, control, but again, handling, stability, accuracy, all that goes down the drain. But if you really want to go with a suppressor, I would opt for the Whisper Tactical Suppressor. I think overall, this one is the best pick. You get some range, you get some control. You don't lose a lot of handling in comparison to other ones. So the Whisper Tactical Suppressor is the best pick, I think, if you really want to go with a suppressor. But I opt for the Spiral Firing Flash Header. So the barrel is a tricky one, but I opted for the Vector Ultra Long Barrel. You can change these around as you want to, but then again, I would not suggest this because if you take this one, for example, you can flick some slots. So you cannot put a bipod on there and you lose all your patches. With this one, you lose 3 patches. And again, with this one, you have, of course, the range and muzzle velocity as a bonus. The only downside is you lose a lot of handling. The accuracy is kind of neglectable because the Vector already has a lot of accuracy to go with. But again, I chose the ultra long barrel for this one. Now for the stock, this is a unique stock for the Vector. I went for the Vector Resonant. I don't know how to pronounce this, but basically this is the Vector stock. A lot of control, a lot of accuracy, a lot of handling, minus stability. We don't really care about stability that much. It does affect your flinch. That basically means when you get hit, your screen is going to bounce up and down. Your weapon will also sway less when you aim down sight, but we're not going to aim down sight that much. When you hold your breath, your recoil is reduced, but again, we're not gonna aim down sight that much, so stability isn't really that big of a factor in this weapon. But handling, control, accuracy, those are big ones. And of course, a big ammo capacity. So we went for this one. Very good stats for the Vector. So now for the optic, we went for the optic. You don't really need it, but it's on there regardless because this doesn't really affect your weapon in any way, shape, or form stat-wise. So we put on the panoramic red dot sight. I think this is the cleanest one. You have a few other ones that are kind of nice, but I kind of like this one. Then, of course, for the upper rail, we went for a laser. Lasers are very unique. In my opinion, they don't show up in the statistics here below, but they actually, when enabled, give you a lot of handling, accuracy, and allow tactical holding stance. You're not going to use this, but these two are very big ones. So now, about this will give you a lot of hidden stats that you don't see on here, because let me show you. I will unequip this, and I will re-equip this, just to show you guys, you don't see it. So again, it says -4 handling, but this is when the laser is off. This is very confusing, but look at this. It says accuracy when active. It says accuracy like +4 or whatever this icon is, like maximum. It doesn't show, right? It doesn't show. It shows minus handling, but it gives handling back, right? So you get a whole bunch of handling. I think it's like, if I would have to guess, like +4 handling and then like +8 accuracy. So keep that in mind. Calibration wise, the barrel, we have +9 muzzle velocity and +4 firing stability. This is raw control, and muzzle velocity is of course faster bullets. So then for the stock, it's straightforward, +5 hip firing aim speed, so you will be faster with your hip firing, which is good for the Vector. Then it's +6 control, which is better than the negative, which is -18 aiming stability while breathing, which we never do, so that actually doesn't affect us. And then for the patches, which are the last ones, I went for, of course, the accuracy. You can actually play around with these because the Vector itself already has a whole bunch of accuracy. So if you want a little bit more control or whatever you want on this weapon, you can play around with this, but I would stick with this because this is a hipfire build weapon. So talking about hipfire, in the build of proximity range, he had a whole bunch of hipfire, like all the way to the max 100. It's not really needed because let me try and explain to the best of my abilities. If you look closely, if you go into details, you go into damage, this is where this weapon shines, 25 meters and below, because at around 17 meters, you actually lose 20% of the weapon damage. After that, you lose like 70, 60, and then 50. Up to 50 meters, you're like halving your damage output. So in the firing range here, I'm going to explain why I picked the hipfire for the Vector as I did. So why I did not slap on more accuracy than I did. As you can see here, we have the 16 meter dummy, we have a 20 meter dummy, we have a 30 meter dummy, and we have a 50 meter dummy. I'm going to start here with hipfire, go to here, and then see how fast I can down these dummies with the hipfire only. So this is the sweet spot. This is still right underneath the sweet spot, so it will do full damage on the dummy. Here we go. 0.4 seconds on this one. Then we got the 20 meter dummy. This is just under, just above the sweet spot, so it will do a little less damage on the dummy itself. Here we go. 0.6 seconds on this one. Then we got the 30 meter dummy. This is actually pushing the hipfire here. Still decent. Also 0.6 seconds. And then the 50 dummy. I'm gonna try, but this is too far. A solid 2.1 seconds. Alright. So, up until this, I would actually use my aim down sight. They still go down in 0.4 seconds. And then the 50 meter dummy. It's also very doable if you're lucky with your spray and pray, of course. But then again, the power of this weapon lies in its close range, as I mentioned before. You got one here. And the bullets. There we go. There we go. 4 enemies downed close to medium range, and I did it all in one mag. And this is the power of this weapon. You can pre-fire corners. You can miss a little bit with this weapon. It's very noob friendly, I would say, as CQB orientated games will go. For example, close quarter combat, like some kind of domination mode, some kind of rush mode. You're gonna want to have this one because you can very fast jump corners, and keep on going with this weapon. It's very user friendly, so put some tokens into this and go ham with it. The code again is in the description down below if you want to try out this one, and feel free to leave me a comment in the comment section down below. Let me know if you like these kind of guides, if these are helpful in any way, shape or form, or just leave a nice comment. They're always nice to read, and I will reply to each and every one of you if you're kind, of course. With that being said, ladies and probably gentlemen, I will leave you boys and possible girls, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.